Leaky, sagging, guttering. Well, today it's getting replaced with a nice new deep flow aluminium guttering system. Now, we've never installed metal guttering before and we want to know if it's actually worth the extra cost and effort. So let's rip this old one down and find out. First step, we're going to unclip this old guttering. Of course, if you're installing your guttering on a new property, you wouldn't have to do this stage, but for us, we need to take the old stuff off. And it's full of moss. We can't get to the screws that hold the clips on without sliding some of the tiles back. This ain't going to be your conventional install either. It's not just straight guttering. A lot of people would show you this on straight guttering. You're going to see some funny little unconventional bits. Just to make filming a little bit easier. Not. Sun's right in the wrong place as well. It's not raining. That is one good thing. That makes a change for us to work outside when it's not raining. Now, all of this that you see here is an Aluflow guttering system. So it's an aluminium guttering system from clear amber. So why are we using an aluminium guttering system for this job? Well, you can see the old one was saggy, it leaked, and over time just degrades. Aluminium doesn't. It's going to stay good for years and years and years to come. It's really durable and hard wearing, and that's why we're going to use it for this job. You can see we've unboxed it all so that we can see what we've got. We're now going to start to assemble some of it and show you how to install it. So we start out our downpipe outlet. We need to install this first. So you can see our 4-inch pipe down there. All I'm doing, lay this to the side for now. Be careful you don't scratch this stuff because it is obviously painted aluminium. And you can see I've made a little line there. So because this is important for where our outlet sits on the fascia up the top there, all I've done is marked a centre line up the wall all the way to the fascia so that I know exactly where the centre of my outlet needs to go. These are the concealed clips. Idea is you won't see them. They lock into the back of the gutter, so it looks really nice once it's up. They're called the rock and lock, I think is the technical name, because they just hook in, so they're quite quick to install. For now, all I'm going to do is just slide one on there because we need to mark the height. You can see the line I made for the downpipe. We're going to do this left-handed for you because that will be easier for you to see. It's hard to film this with the sun. We need to make sure that the water that runs off the tiles falls into the middle of the outlet or the gutter there, because of course this is going to dictate the height. You can see that moving this up and down is going to dictate where this batten hits. So for the purpose of the video, if you lay that there so it touches the inside of the gutter, you'll see that's the correct height. So we now know that's the height. I'll just hold that there and I'll make a little mark at the bottom of that clip there. And I know that that is the height for my clips. The recommendation from the manufacturer is that we're installing this flat with all these clips in line. Normally what I do is for a long run, this is quite a long run, I'd put a slight fall on it. A fall of about 3 mil per metre would be the perfect fall. But with deep flow guttering like this, you can, to be fair, install it flat. And if we're using it on a short run, I would install flat. Because we're going to go by the manufacturer instructions, we are going to install this one flat. But look, it's up to you whether you want to put a fall on it or not. A fall would carry more moss and things like that away, but a flat gutter does still work, and it is within the regulation to use it flat. We know that this is the height of the bracket, and this little line that I've popped here is 125 mil from the centre line, same in that direction. And that's for the centre of the bracket, so we've got the height and position of the bracket. Now we're going to drill the bracket. We're going to use metal drill bits. I use these Thunderweb Milwaukee ones. I'll link them in the description. Any metal drill bit though will do, and we're going to drill 2 holes. We'll drill one on that line, one on that line. Now you'll want some external grade screws, and you'll see the hole I drilled is a little bit bigger than the screw. Now we can fix our first brackets where the running outlet goes. So now you can see how them brackets work. They lock in nice and easy, and they are concealed. Does look really smart. We'll take that out again for now, and we're going to run a mark all the way along, and we're going to fit all of these brackets 600 mil centres to support our gutter. I'm going to use a chalk line at the bottom of that bracket to mark my level all the way down. You could just use a level if you want, sit it on that first one we installed, run it all the way down, but what we're going to do, just ping that, and that is going to give us the level that we want all the way down. We've marked the 600 centres, now we can install the brackets. Now we're ready to put our first bit of guttering up there next to the outlet, and what we've got is these connections. Now these connect all the bits of gutter together. I've set my square to 25mm and 25mm from each edge. Just going to make a little mark on the connector. 3.5mm metal drill bit right on that centre line there where the marks are. Chris has just got to get up the ladder the other end. Now we can lift it and it should pop in just like that, nice and easy to install. Now we can butt that up with our outlet. You can see once it's clipped in, it's nice and flush and it looks really smart, because you don't have loads of brackets that you can see along the length of the gutter. Where we join this bit of gutter with the outlet, it gets sealed with a union. It's the same for any areas where we're sealing two lengths together, on corners, on outlets, they get sealed with these unions. The good thing is they're hidden on the inside, so again, we don't see them on the outside. Now from the joint, we measure 20mm, mark that on the inside, 40mm, mark that on the inside, same on the other side, 20mm, 40mm, so we've got 4 marks there. And now we have a bead, nice thick bead of the silicone they supplied on each of those marks. Now this is next to impossible to film up there. It's all right if you got a rig like they have on the websites for this stuff, but we haven't. We're doing it for real and the camera's really high up. So you can see them 2 marks I made from the centre. Of course you're going to do it up there, but I can't get up there to show you. So a bead of that from front to back on the 20mm mark and the 40mm mark, just like that. And on the front edge here, this is the screw channel. We need to fill 50mm of that screw channel with silicone as well. So just a slight bit past that mark we made will be 50mm. Hasn't got to be pretty. Now that union slots in there and pushes down on the inside, just like that. Now we're popping in the screws that retain the union into the gutter, and they pull everything tight and level, and then once that sealant's all squished into the union, you can then smooth it off. But for this first one, we're really struggling with it. The reason for that, I think, is because the camera's up high, we can't get there. You can see here I'm working actually above my head whilst trying to film it, and our standards are high and we weren't actually happy with this. We ended up adjusting it very slightly. I'll show you a much better way of doing it on the next one, but for this first one it was definitely tricky. Once you got them screws in, you can see you got this excess silicone. After a bit of a tidy up of the silicone, look how neat that looks. All concealed, no clips. The only thing that we found is this fascia is quite kinked in at the end there. Now you might have saw when I first installed this bit, it had a bit of a bigger gap on there, and that's because the fascia had a dip in it. So we've had to pack out the end bracket to bring it straight, otherwise the whole guttering wouldn't be straight. So I suppose it's a little bit less flexible than plastic, but it is still easier to install and it does look a lot better once you've got it up. We also found that because of a bit more additional weight, this is a 2-man job. What they say, rock and lock. Now, as I mentioned, the joints all work in the same way, connecting with the union. And we've got the hang of it now, and you can see here I'm showing you a much neater one than that first one I did. Once you get the hang of it, they are neat and they are easy to do, but it does take a little bit of practice. So as we work our way along the build, and I think that looks really smart. What do you think, Chris?
Excellent. Ace.
It's going to last a lot of years as well, so it's got to be a positive. We've got to pull the tiles forward yet, in case you're wondering why they sit so far back. We popped them up, as you saw when we took the old guttering off. But if we work our way to the end now, then we'll show you how we do the corners, how we do the downpipe and all the little fiddly bits. But if this is helping you out, then hit subscribe and hit that like button for me, because that helps this video reach more people. Right, let's finish this side and then more fiddly bits. I know you like fiddly bits.
We love a fiddly bit.
So we've done that complete length. Now we're going to cut a piece with an aluminium saw to go in that gap there. But we need a nice clean cut on the end, because you will see the bottom of the cut when you put your stop end in. We also need to make sure we run past the verge on this gable end by 20-30mm, just so that any water that comes off doesn't come over the edge of it. Of course, you want your gutter to just come past it very slightly. So we're using Chris's old Evolution Rage miter saw, real old beast this, but he's got a multi-material blade in it which is perfect for cutting through this aluminium. You want to make sure if you're doing this you have got a really nice, good way to cut it, something like a miter saw with a multi-material blade, but a nice sharp blade so that you get that nice neat cut. Stop ends just like before, 2 beads of silicone, folds in just like our other pieces did. There we go. Push it nice and tight on the end. Does it look good from underneath? That's the key, yes. Considering we cut it, that's pretty neat. And just like before, a little screw to retain it. And once the stop end's finished, it looks just like that. Over 320 power tool kit winners and over £100,000 worth of power tools, just like that lot, sent to our winners already on Ultimate Tool Competitions. Now, Ultimate Tool Competitions is my website and I'm proud of what we've done so far, but we've still got a long way to go and we are looking for a winner of this 30-piece Milwaukee power tool kit. There's a live draw very soon and one of you is going to win it. The kit includes 2 of the most renowned nailers in the world, First Fix and Second Fix, a complete track saw kit including the rails, a miter saw and a stand, and pretty much everything you could ever need to kit yourself out. This is a serious kit. The tickets are just £1. The link's down below in the description. Get your name in the hat and you might just be the winner of that lot. So you can see we're on to the fiddly bits, internal and external corners. They're not that fiddly to be fair. The whole thing, once you've got the system worked out, it's quite self-explanatory and it all works in the same way, including the corners. So you can see they're slightly different, these internal and externals. The external corners, they've of course got the lips for the unions on the inside. You can see we've dummied that up already. All you got to do, he says, slot that in like that and it slides in. So all we've got to do is put our silicone in and fix them in exactly the same way. So you can see we've done the bit above the conservatory there and we've done this whole length of the bungalow. We've just got the downpipe to do, we've got an adapter to put into the drain and we've got that little fiddly extension bit. But what you can see is it's already a lot tidier than conventional guttering. I'd say that's the best thing about this guttering system. Is there's just no joints, you don't see all the brackets, it's not warped, it's not ugly. It looks really, really neat so far.
Nothing can break me, no, nothing can break me. Try not to hold me down, feel alive when I'm in this town. Look at the beautiful stars.
So with that little tricky bit built up, we now just need to build up the downpipe. And before we had the old downpipe concreted in, but we've got a little adapter to make a neat job of it. So what we've realised with this one is it's a bit unconventional. Normally your downpipe would start above the fascia and you'd then be creating an angle to bring your downpipe close to the wall. So what we'll do is we'll show you how we get over this problem, but we're going to show you how we create a conventional downpipe because that is what you guys are more likely to have. So the first step of creating a downpipe and the kink that goes off towards the wall is to hold your 112-degree bend at the bottom of the fascia there, so it's in line with the bottom of your fascia. Grab a tape measure and measure between the ridge on the outlet there and the ridge on the inside of the 112-degree bend because you need to account for the pipe that sits within that and the pipe that goes over the outlet as well. So we'll hold that there and then we'll take that measurement. Now I'll dummy this up, I'll pop that pipe on there that we just cut and then I'm going to pop an elbow on there as well. 112-degree elbow, just like that, facing the wall. Now this piece of pipe that we're going to put in here is dictated by the height of the downpipe and this 112-degree elbow. The best way to do this, I haven't really got enough hands to show you this, but move your elbow up and down inside one of these clips because that will kick the pipe 50mm off the wall, so you know that we're going to end up somewhere there. And then all we need to do, and then we just get a tape measure and we measure the amount of pipe that we need to cut, which is 75mm. As we build all of these elbows up on the downpipe, we're using secure bond between all of the joints. You cut yourself a length of downpipe based on where this that we built up earlier ends. So of course that's going to end up there. So you'd measure, I ain't got enough hands to show you this, but you would measure between where that elbow is and that hole in that adapter. Cut yourself a length of downpipe, pop that down in there like that, hold that up there, pop your first 112-degree elbow on there, downpipe at a slight angle, and this is the way to slot these in because it can be tricky. Push the gutter up very slightly, slot that one over, there you go, and the whole thing should slot together. Now our downpipe is in the right place. We retain it with a retaining clip. There's nothing worse, especially on metal guttering, than a rattly downpipe. So I'll show you how to install it nice and tight. We're just going to pop it over the pipe there, but it would rattle. You can see it's got some play in it. So we'll fix one side first. Actually, I'll fix this side first. With one side anchored, nip that nice and tight, pop your drill bit through, and then I pop a wall plug and a screw in and tighten the whole lot up. And now going back to the unconventional one, it's built up in exactly the same way, except we're starting much lower down, so it's not going to have that same effect where it drops down below the fascia. As long as it looks nice and neat though, that's all that matters. Now it's important to note I've taken no financial gain. I've not been paid for this video, so it's an unbiased opinion on the guttering, and this is not my house. I've not taken materials in exchange to give you my opinion. So this is an unbiased opinion, and the only thing I have gained from this is the ability to bring you this video. So it's been up a couple of weeks, and what better day to review it, if you like, than a day of our great British weather. It's pretty grim out here, and over the last couple of weeks, one funny little thing to note is you get a little tinkling sound in the gutter where the rain flows into the gutter. It's quite easy to use and install once you get used to it. It takes a little bit of getting used to. That first outlet we did took me a little bit of getting it wrong before I got it right, and that's just one of them things. When you've never done a system like this before, you have got to get used to it, but once you get used to it, it's quick to install. It looks really good. It's going to last many years. You haven't got all them brackets. There's been no leaks in the last few weeks, so that sealant method works really well. Overall, a really, really good system. The only thing to bear in mind, aside from having to get used to installing a slightly different system than plastic, is that you haven't got a lot of play with it. So basically, if you've got a bit of fascia that dips in very slightly, you've got to pack out the fascia or pack out the bracket to meet the guttering, meet the run that you're doing. You can't bend the guttering to accommodate what you've got. You've got to think of other ways to move what you've got to the guttering, because that is all you can do. But otherwise, a really easy and fast system to install, and one that is well worth the investment if it's a house that you're staying in long term. Of course, if it's something you're flipping and you're going to sell in 6 months and you're trying to do it cheap because it's more money, it's probably not going to be worth it for you. But if you're looking for something that's long term, it is an investment, it's a forever home, definitely worth the money because it looks amazing and it's going to last many years. So if you're thinking of doing the same as us, getting rid of that old plastic guttering for something much nicer, then give it a go. It's well worth it. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Click one of these if you want to see more, and I'll see you guys in the next one.